So, Washington, D.C. Attorney General Carl A. Racine and Maryland's Attorney General Brian Frosh, both Democrats, are filing a joint lawsuit against President Trump over his possible business deals or profits made while in office. Now, they are filing this anti-corruption suit claiming that Trump violated what's called the emoluments clauses of the Constitution by accepting money from foreign governments through his personal businesses, which he did not put into a blind trust, as is customary in American politics. So you would normally relinquish your businesses to a third party while you are in office so that you don't give off the appearance of corruption. It's not even an issue, so they just say, you know what, we know that this is probably going to be a problem, so let's just address it at its core and just, say, hey, well, your president probably shouldn't be making money from your role as leader of the country. I think that's pretty fair. So this is actually like the first lawsuit of its kind. Apparently a president's never been sued by two attorney generals under the emoluments clause before. Who would have thought? But no, I'm just kidding. The emoluments clause has actually never been brought up and defined in a legal manner, so it's never been used as the way to prosecute somebody in Washington for violating like maybe some anti-corruption policies, even though, as we all know, that presidents have done that in the past and the results have not ended up well for them, at least to speak mildly. Now, a federal judge has to review the case before it can move forward, so it still needs that approval, and then after that it will most likely move on to the Supreme Court, where we will all by then have heard about this. And that's not unusual with something like this, even though it's unprecedented in its nature. A lot of cases that are brought at a federal level, especially by state attorney generals, tend to go to the Supreme Court just because of the appeals process, and based on what the power structure in Washington looks like right now, Republicans have a supermajority, so they have a majority in the House, the Senate, all branches of government, all state legislatures, just about. They have, in the majority of state legislatures, they have the majority of local governments, I believe, the majority of governors. So it's not looking good for the Democratic Party right now, and the Democrats don't have any power or control over anything really in Washington. They just have the ability to kind of try to obstruct Trump and their policies coming out. But as far as making legislation and passing it, yeah, good luck. You're not, you might as well just sit on your ass and wait till 2018 before we get anybody new in there and have any chance of bringing back some balance to our three branches. Because right now, there's really no checks and balances other than what the Republican Party deems fit. So Brian Frosh had this to say. He's a Maryland Attorney General. Quote, "This case at its core is about the right of Marylanders, residents of the District of Columbia, and all Americans to have honest government. The emoluments clauses command that the president put the country first and not his own personal interests first." Fair statement. I think we can all agree, yeah. So people have already accused Trump of doing a lot of corrupt things while he's been president. Like we all know, firing James Comey to possibly sway the outcome of the Russia investigation, as he just admitted to on live television. He's not the brightest crane in the box, but who doesn't love the color orange? And Carl Racine had his own little quote to say. He is the D.C. Attorney General filing the suit. "We are getting in here to be the checks and balances that it appears Congress is unwilling to be. We're bringing the suit because the president has not taken adequate steps to separate himself from his business interests." So a prime example of this would be how Trump did a business deal or negotiation of some sort, as it would appear, with the Saudi royalty, as they had booked another hotel when they had come to stay in New York, and Trump was like, "No, you gotta stay at Trump Tower, it's fantastic." they're like, all right, dude, whatever. We'll throw you the kickback, whatever. It's all good. We hear you have gold shit. We like gold shit. You know, it's funny how Trump and the Saudis seem to like kind of click, even though they're so like diametrically opposed. It's like what they pretend to believe in, because at the end of the day, they don't give a shit about anything except that guava, that sweet paper, that cheddar, the cheese. That's all they want. They don't give a fuck about serving their constituents or, you know, doing government shit. Who wants to do that when you can just get money? Yeah. But, all jokes aside, like, did anybody really not see this coming? Is anybody really surprised? Because dead ass serious, like, I could have told you this when he announced his bid to run for president. I could have told you this at any point during the election. And you would have said, what? You have to trust him, you have to give him a chance. Fuck that. So, I'll just read into a little bit more of what the emoluments have been interpreted as. Because in U.S. history, there have been no emoluments clauses clearly written to prevent presidents such as Trump from taking the presidency to make private profits. So again, this is probably something that, if it's never been like firmly established in political precedent, we should maybe have a case where we're able to give this a legal definition, because in the future, this might want to be something that we're able to apply and, or at least like have in place and ready to go when our presidents start doing corrupt business deals with Saudi Arabia. But, you know, that's been going on for a few decades in a row now, and no end in sight until we get somebody in there who cares about the United States and our interests more than their own interests, more than their political career, and they actually give a fuck about the people. And it's a crazy idea, but, you know, I'm not a crazy person, I guess. So the Justice Department has attempted to argue that the president isn't bound by these rules and can't be in violation of emoluments. What? Like, dude, wouldn't you want the president, let's say, in the Constitution, right? It says the president must try to make money off of his presidency. Wouldn't we go, you know what, I don't think that part should be in there. I think somebody might, you know, fuck things up if they try to do that. But, you know, it's remained as an unwritten rule for so long that people pretty much thought it was a real thing. So now we have the Justice Department saying, oh, the president, no. Like, huh? I can't do that. Oh, man, you didn't violate no emoluments, dog. We don't know what they're talking about. So where will this go? In my opinion, nowhere. It will go about as far as the FBI investigation gets. In my opinion, if Trump gets impeached, and it's not because of this FBI investigation, like he stabbed Steve Bannon at a press conference. He did something horrible where there is no excuse. Like he would have to be caught blowing Vladimir Putin on Fox and Friends live in their studio while saying this is not fake news repeatedly, just one after another. Maybe then, man, they still wouldn't believe it. They'd be like, no, Putin was just cleaning out Trump's mouth with his dick. I'm trying to